A lot of home cooks really underestimate the difference between pull and finish temperature, getting it from the pan to the table. Now, I want to blow a few myths on that one to begin with, and I understand them. Um, there's people who say, I don't want the meat to be cold by the time I eat it. There's a very, very simple solution to that. All you have to do is rest the meat properly. And the reason for that is actually quite scientific, but very easy to understand. Now, we've just applied heat to a muscle. And what happens is the muscle contracts. So you'll notice that often your steak or your chop will shrink a little bit, and that's because of fluid loss. That's what happens. But you've got that contraction because of the muscle being directly on heat. So if we set it to the side for a couple of minutes, the muscle just has a chance to relax, and that's why it tends to suck up any juices that have come out when you put it on the plate. As it's relaxing, it's also reabsorbing. So you're actually going to get a slightly better result simply because of that, because you've got the reabsorption of fluid. Now, if it really bothers you that your steak is going to be cold if you leave it sit for 10 minutes, the answer is actually really, really simple. Move your fry pan off the hot plate or the flame, but keep it actively close. So when you've got everything together and your resting time is all done, what you can do is simply just put your frying pan back onto your range, heat it up, and then just hit it with some high heat, just 30 seconds either time, and the steak will reheat itself without losing any further fluid because it hasn't been on long enough for any fluid loss to occur. So I'd encourage you to do that, because that one small thing can actually make quite a big difference to your steak, especially if you aren't going for the really premium cuts, the more expensive things. You know, if you're buying things that are budget specials, etc., where you can't expect the quality to be as high as the premium. So I hope that that one is helpful to you. The pull versus finish gap is actually important. Now you know how to deal with it. One of the things, and look, we've all seen this over the years, is that years ago, before meat thermometers really became a thing, there was a very simple and very general guide that you can use. You could take your little finger and you could put it on the fleshy part of your palm right near your thumb, and that would be well done. And as you worked up the fingers, you'd get all of the way up to rare. Now, it's not highly scientific. Everybody's hand is different, everybody's grip is different. So that's why we get these inconsistent results. And sometimes just the amount of pressure you apply can change day to day, or, even moment by moment. So we can get these inconsistent results where you cooked a steak yesterday or a chop, and you did the pressure test on your own hand and thought, yeah, that's right. And then when you go to use it again the next day, it's really different, even if it came off the same animal, even if it came out of the same pack that you bought at the butcher or the supermarket. This is why I actually recommend meat thermometers. Um, with the experience that I have, both as a butcher and having done quite a fair bit of commercial cooking over the years also, I'm a pretty decent home cook. So I was in that mindset, especially, being in my generation, that I can do this. I really don't need to spend money on something that's just going to sit in a drawer. So I really resisted the idea of a thermometer for years. And then about 3 years ago, I bought myself a thermometer and I used it. I I didn't notice great difference straight away, but I will say that over a couple of weeks, I actually did notice an improvement because it's so exact. Now, I'm not getting paid to promote meat thermometers. I'm not even going to tell you the brand that I use. What I will say is that I only paid about $30 for it because I didn't at the time want to invest a lot of money into something that I thought I probably wouldn't use and would sit in a drawer. And I can tell you that it was a really good $30. It was really well spent. So I would encourage you to do that, because you know what it's like. Your experience in life is, the more information you have and the more you apply it to a specific problem, the better and more consistent the result you'll get. So I really, really encourage you to look into them. And I would say to you, if you don't want to commit, Just start with a cheap digital one. I found the digital ones are really quite good. Um, I don't like the Wi-Fi ones for a variety of reasons, but that's personal. But the digital one that I have, I put it into the meat, and 2 to 4 seconds later, I have a result. And I found it to be really bang on every time I've used it. So experience converted me to it. I would encourage you to get that because I think it's a useful piece of equipment and you can buy it at a low price. And, as long as you don't drop it or otherwise wreck it in some way, mine is going strong 3 years later and I use it a lot. So that's the second point that I wanted to make. Um, the thermometer gives you consistency, and consistency is what you want. So put your thermometer in when you first about to pull the steak so that you know what temperature you're actually at, what level of cooking you're at. Remember, when you pull it off, you've got residual heat inside the meat, and that's why the temperature actually still keeps rising. Because the heat is rising, the steak will continue to cook. Um, and then test it again when you get to the finish, and there's two reasons for doing that. The first one is if you're concerned that your meat is going cold, within 2 to 4 seconds, your thermometer will actually tell you if what you suspect is right actually is. You may have a perception that's not right, so your thermometer will help you there. I use mine twice, once in the pull, once in the finish. If the finish looks like it's just dropped a little lower than I want, simply back in the pan, 60 seconds, 30 seconds on high heat either time. And it really doesn't matter what thickness of steak or chop you're talking about. Now, this is something I have tested quite a bit. It really doesn't matter because what's cooling first is the outside of the meat. You still got the retained heat on the inside, so you're really just heating up the outside. And that was pretty much all I wanted to say. Pull versus finish. Pull versus finish is important, more important than people give it credit to. Guessing gives inconsistent results, and a thermometer guarantees you consistency. So, no matter what level of the market you're buying your meat from, get the best quality result that you possibly can. I hope this helped. I'll talk to you in the